Words about COVID-19. 1. Lockdown. Lockdown. Lệnh đóng cửa. The entire city was in lockdown. Police imposed lockdown in building until shutter could be stopped. 2. Quarantine. Cách ly. The doctor said I could go home as long as I agreed to stay in quarantine for at least 7 days. Owner risks having to leave their pets abroad or put them in quarantine if they fail to follow the rules. 3. Follow. Nghỉ phép. The union presents about 9,000 active pilots, with nearly 2,000 more pilots currently in furlough. 4. Home working. Công việc tại nhà. Flexible hours at home and consequence of technology change. 5. Barrier gesture. Cử chỉ rào chắn. Barrier gesture have a vital role to play in preventing the spread of COVID-19. 6. Elbow pump. Chạm khuỷu tay. Elbow pump. Doing an elbow pump. Chạm khuỷu tay. Doing an elbow pump instead of a handshake may still not be enough to avoid spreading the virus. The fitness instructors used to high-five everyone as they walk in, but now is all elbow pumps. 7. Air bridge. Cầu hàng không. As the UK and Greece could allow people to travel freely between other specific countries without quarantine, establish air bridges. 8. Curfew. Lệnh giới nghiêm. To impose, lift a curfew. 9. Community transmission. Quá trình lây lan cộng đồng. Of 20 confirmed cases in the county, 14 were travel related, 3 were from contact with a confirmed case, and 3 were from community transmission. Public health measures were put in place to slow the community spread of COVID-19. 10. Self-isolate. Tự cô lập. If you have been told to self-isolate, you need to stay indoors and avoid contact with other people for 14 days. 11. Coronavirus. Virus corona. The government introduced travel restrictions in response to the coronavirus outbreak. SARS was a new strain of coronavirus. 12. Epidemic. Bệnh dịch. A flu epidemic. Pandemic. Dịch bệnh. In some parts of the world, malaria is still pandemic. 14. Zoonosis. Bệnh lây từ động vật sang người. Implementations of these strategies with limited potentials environmental contamination, thus reducing potential transmission to other animals and reducing public health impacts due to waterborne zoonosis. 15. Outbreak. Sự bùng phát. An outbreak of cholera food poisoning resulting war. 16. Vaccine. This vaccine protects against some kinds of the bacteria. 17. Immunity, miễn dịch. The disease vaccinations for up to 6 gives months you immunity against. Panic buying, tình trạng hoảng loạn mua sắm. 19. Incubation period, giai đoạn ủ bệnh. The average incubation period of the virus is thought to be 5 days. Antibody, kháng thể. Antibody against infection found in breast milk protects newborn babies. 21. Patient zero, bệnh nhân số 0. Scientists were hunting down patient zero who first developed SARS. Epidemiologists dịch tễ học. Epidemiologists who led the study say leafy greens and colorful vegetables are especially potent cancer fighters. 23. Super spreader, người siêu lây nhiễm cho người khác. A few supervirus to as many as 10 people each. Spreader appear to have transmitted the stockpiling, dự trữ. Increasing instability is encouraging stockpiling. 25. Face mask, khẩu trang. Medical staff are required to wear protective gloves and face masks. 26. Contact tracing, truy tìm tung tích. Contact tracing can identify high-risk contacts of a person testing positive of COVID-19 who may be asked to self-isolate for 14 days. PPE, Personal Protective Equipment. PPE, thiết bị bảo vệ cá nhân. PPE be worn when working with compressed. 28. Social distancing, giãn cách xã hội. To be useful, slow and transmission.